Hi, this is Dr. Willie Ong. For this video, I will teach you how to lower the risk of getting infections from viruses, even the coronavirus. Here are some factors to lower your risk of getting infected. It depends on the distance from one person to another. It's around 1 to 2 meters away. Avoid physical contact. Second factor, outdoor setting, whether it's ventilated, open air, it's better. If the weather is warm and humid, this is not conducive to the virus. 3, limit the time talking to other people. The shorter the time, the better. Use self-protection, wear a face mask, do hand washing, use alcohol, and don't touch your face. Here are some examples of high risk, moderate risk, and low risk of getting infected. The high risk practices are physical contact with another person. Shaking hands is a no-no. Another high risk is, again, physical contact, kissing another person, playing with your grandchildren. I think we should avoid this for the moment. Physical contact with another person for a long time with shared utensils and items, that's the highest risk. 80% of infections occur inside the household. The longer the time you spend with the sick person, the higher your risk of getting an infection. Another high-risk practice, this is based on a Japanese study. If a person coughs for several minutes, particles are still around the area. So these 3 persons could get infected because they are exposed. If we want to reduce the risk, you should open the window and let the air, the ventilation, dissipate the virus. Another high-risk practice is in the household. If you're staying with your family, it's a closed area, it's indoor, there's close distance, and you spend a long time together. So there's a high risk of getting infected. High risk is when young people stay together and they get infected. Another high-risk practice is going to the malls, especially if it's crowded. When you're going up the elevator, everybody's holding the elevator handle. So that's a source of the infection. When you're in the hospital, of course, there are partitions between patients. Doctors, nurses, they wear masks, they use alcohol. But the hospitals have many sick patients. Many infections also occur inside the hospital despite these precautions. One study shows that offices are a breeding ground for viruses. One tip is to open the window, better ventilation. If this is not possible, wear a face mask, and they should be separated 1 to 2 meters away. Lower risk is for motorcycle solo riders. If we want to lower the risk, some buses, they can open the windows and have less passengers and use protective equipment. Cars can have open windows. If you are sick, one way to lower the risk is to self-isolate. As long as there's an open air, there's ventilation, the person is very careful with himself, he uses a tissue and alcohol, this has a lower risk because the person knows how to protect himself. Low risk practices is when you go jogging in the park where you're all alone, you're walking the dog. This has a lower risk. We just want to avoid crowded areas. Public health experts say that parks are a safer bet because this is open air, there's ventilation, it's sunny, it's warm. You just have to distance yourself with others. Low risk is when you exercise alone, you walk in the park, or when you're jogging, you're 2 to 3 meters away. Social distance from the other person. Low risk is for construction workers. If it's outdoor, it's well ventilated, it's sunny, it's warm, there's no other person here. Of course, if the person uses mask, alcohol, it would be much better. Regarding grocery items, food items, actually, they have a lower risk compared to physical contact with another person because the virus has to travel from the person to the object, then transfer again to the person. So one tip is just to wash your hands. For deliveries, this will be the new normal. There's no contact with another person. The virus has to travel from the person to the object to another person. Just wash your hands. I think that will be safe. I'm not saying there's zero risk, but the risk is very minimal. I hope these tips help you. Thank you very much. God bless.